Hey everybody, it's happy hour. And being an Oz Club member, of course, you're going to want to have some special Aussie cocktails. So I've whipped up a few for you, and they're all based on the various countries and the big city in the middle, of course, the Emerald City. So we're going to have 5 cocktails. If you can drink all 5, well, good luck to you. But I'm going to demonstrate how to make cocktails, teach you a little bit about how to put them together along the way, and hopefully we'll have some fun. So we're going to start off with a cocktail where Dorothy first landed when she got to the Enchanted Land of Oz, and that was Munchkin Land. And if you've read the book, you recall that she was entertained by a very wealthy munchkin named Boq. So we're going to start off with the Boktail. Now, all these cocktails are going to be colored like the various lands, and of course Munchkin Land is colored blue, so this is a blue-based cocktail. It only calls for 4 ingredients, pretty easy to make. I'll just walk you through the steps and you can try it at home. Alright, so what we're going to do first, we're going to take our cocktail glass. You always want to chill the glass, so we're going to put some water in there, and then we're going to get some ice. Put the ice in there. Let that sit, and it will chill the glass for us while we work on the rest of the cocktail. So our first ingredient is lemon vodka. Now I'm going to shake this drink, and I'm using basically a mixing glass and a shaker tin. I prefer to do that because with the glass you can actually see what things look like in there because it's clear. When you also add your cocktail ingredients, you're going to want to measure. That way every cocktail will be exactly the same as the one before it. If you eyeball it, well, that's up to you, but generally I like to measure. So I have some jiggers over here. I especially like these jiggers. They have measurements in 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, ½ ounce, 3/4 ounce, and 1.5 ounces. And most of these ratios are pretty simple. So we're going to start off with 1.5 ounces of lemon vodka. And this is a lemon vodka that I made myself here at the Good Spirits Bar. And basically I infused lemon peels, fresh lemon peels, in a bottle of vodka for about 2 weeks. And so it has that lemon citrus flavor, and certainly the nose is beautiful. So 1.5 ounces of lemon vodka. You can buy your own in the store. There are many brands that sell lemon vodka. That's going to go in the mixing glass. Our next ingredient is blue curacao. Now, in spite of the fact that this is colored blue, it is actually flavored like oranges. Curacao is generally made from bitter orange peels and a sugar and liquor base. So we're going to use 3/4 ounce of the blue curacao. So now we've got 2¼ ounces in total. Our last ingredient, well, I shouldn't say our last ingredient, but we're going to add a juice. And this is, believe it or not, they actually make white cranberry juice. Now, a lot of you know red cranberry juice, but I think the white is going to make this cocktail really pop. So we're going to add 1 ounce of white cocktail juice. So you can already tell this is going to be a very fruity and a very summery cocktail. Just what you want in the days of August. Here on the East Coast, it's really hot. So, in fact, it's about 85 degrees today. This will be really nice at the end of the day. All right, lastly, let me move it a little bit out of the way here. We're going to take fresh lime juice. So I have a lime here. I have a cutting board and a knife. Now here's a little trick about limes. If you leave them in the refrigerator, they release less juice. So if you can leave it at room temperature and use the lime within 3 days, you're going to get the best juice. Also, to help get juice out of the lime, what you simply do is roll it back and forth like this, and that will increase the amount of juice you get out of the lime. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to cut this in half. And we don't need a whole lot of lime juice, so I am kind of going to eyeball this one. As you remember, the jigger has a ½ ounce measure on here. I'm going to squeeze 1/4 ounce, so I'm going to take about half of the ½ ounce, And again, I love these jiggers because they're clear. You can see what's going on in there. So that's about a 1/4 ounce of lime juice. That's going to go in the drink. Now, if you hold that up, look at how beautiful blue that is. That is absolutely gorgeous. So the rest of what we got to do is to shake the cocktail. Let me move this out of the way. We're going to put some more ice in our tin here. And we're going to pour our cocktail ingredients in the tin. You take the glass part and you tap it fairly strong, but not too hard. You don't want to get it stuck on there. Something like this. That's good enough. Now when you shake a cocktail, you want to have the tin part facing towards any guests you might have. That way, if the glass and the tin become separated, you're going to get sprayed with the cocktail, not the guest. So that's an important thing. Always leave the glass on top, the metal part on the bottom. Now this cocktail doesn't need a lot of shaking. I would say shake for maybe about 8 seconds. That should be plenty good. Now to get the glass off, you're going to simply hit the tin with your hand, the palm or the base of your hand here. It will loosen the glass and it comes right off. Usually it comes right off in one easy motion. Now we've had our glass chilling over here, so we're going to dump that. We don't need that anymore. The glass is nice and frosty. That goes down the well. And lastly, we have a strainer here. And you put this over the metal part of the shaker and you simply pour into the glass. That looks awesome. That is a blue cocktail for sure. One last thing I want to do, a lot of cocktails have garnishes on them. So what I've done is I've gotten some blueberries and I'm going to put some of those on a cocktail pick and lay it in the glass. So I just picked up some fresh blueberries here the other day. Simply going to put them on the pick. Oh, let's see, how about 3? 3 is a magic number. That looks pretty good. And you can simply put it on the glass like that. So there we go. This is the Bachtail. So cheers, everybody. Stay tuned for another cocktail, and we'll be right back. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to do cocktail number 2 now for our Oz themed cocktails. And this is a pretty simple one, but a really tasty one. One of my favorite summer cocktails that I came up with. And it is called the Wicked Wassail of the West. And that, of course, means we're going to Winky Country where everything is yellow. Now in the books, the Wicked Witch of the West lived in the Winky Country. We don't know if that's where she came from necessarily, but that's where she ruled until Dorothy threw a bucket of water on her, and you know the rest of the story. But the Winkies, of course, were hardworking people, and they needed a drink. And you know what the funny thing is I was thinking about is, what did the Wicked Witch drink? Well, she couldn't drink water, so she came up with this cocktail. That's my theory anyway. So, to make the Wicked Wassail of the West, I've got my cocktail glass here already chilling. It's filled with water and ice, so we get a nice, cold glass to keep our drink nice and cold. We're going to be stirring this drink, so I've got a mixing glass here, and you can use the the mixing glass for your shaker if you'd like, or you can buy one of these fancy ones like I've got here. Either way, it's fine. But in order to stir a cocktail, you need a cocktail stirrer. And I like this one in particular. It kind of reminded me of a witch's cocktail. You see it's kind of got a little trident on the end there. And it's got this interesting pattern. In any case, what we're going to do is we're going to take some ice and put it in our mixing glass. There we go. And then the ingredients. And as I said, this is a fairly simple one. The first thing we're going to do, however, is make a lemon garnish. Now, to make a lemon twist is very simple. There's a variety of cutters out there you can use. I prefer to use a knife that I use for cutting my citrus. It's up to you. First thing we're going to do is if there's any odd looking ends on there, we're just going to cut that right off. And there's no juice in there, so don't worry about that. It also makes a handy way for you to stand up the citrus if you want to cut it. It doesn't fall over that way. In any case, we're going to cut a garnish. And when you cut, you're going to want to cut towards you very carefully. And you can go fairly deep. Now that's too thin. It popped right off. So you're going to want to go fairly deep, but you don't want to hit into the juice. You just want to get the peel, a little bit of the pith. And that looks about right. You want to be very careful not to cut yourself. If you look at the lemon, you see I didn't get any of the juice, so that's fine. With lemon twists, you want kind of a thick peel anyway. Now you can make this peel a little more interesting than it is. I like to tidy them up a little bit. So I'm going to just cut off the edges and make it look a little neater. And this one, as you noticed, kind of looks like a yellow brick. How about that? So we've got our garnish set aside. Now we're going to add our liquor, and that is a dry gin. London dry gin is a particular style of gin. It's been around for several hundred years. It's what I recommend. There are a lot of new styles of gin out there. There are flavored gins. There are aged gins. I just go with the basic, which is a London dry style. So we're going to add 2 ounces of our London dry gin. And then we're going to pour that right into our mixing glass with the ice. Next up, we're going to take that lemon again, and we're going to squeeze 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Now we want to measure, remember, so we're going to put our jigger here, and 3/4 of an ounce is quite a bit of lemon juice. It's going to take about half a lemon here. So we're going to put that in there, squeeze. You can see exactly how far you're going. That's perfect. All right. Lastly, and this is the key ingredient to this drink, it's a liqueur called Domaine de Canton, and that is ginger liqueur. So it's got a little bit of that ginger flavor, a little bit of that ginger heat on the back. So we're going to use only a half an ounce of this, but it's going to sweeten it up because, you know, with lemon juice, that's pretty tart. You want something to bring it more into balance and sweeten it up. So I've decided to use the ginger liqueur. All right, we got it. That's it. That's so easy. Put that in there, and you're going to want to stir the cocktail probably for about 20 seconds. Get it nice and chilled. One thing about stirring is you don't need to do a lot of splashing around like some people do this. You don't need to do that. You just basically take the edge of the spoon, the bottom part, and you put it against the edge of the glass and just go around and round. You hold it loosely, and if you can see, the top of the fork is kind of twirling around. Makes for a pretty cool thing to look at while you're stirring your drink. All right, that's nice and chilled. We have our nice and chilled glass. We'll just dump this. And again, we're going to want to use a strainer up top so we don't get any ice pouring accidentally into the glass and splashing everybody. So that holds the ice back. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. It's a light yellow color. And now we're going to take that lemon twist we made. We're going to twist it slightly. That expresses the lemon oils to the surface of the peel. We're going to run that right around the edge of the glass. So that's going to give it a nice perfume. And then we're going to simply drop our yellow brick twist into the drink, like so. And there you have it, folks. This is the Wicked Wassail of the West. Cheers, everybody. Stick around. We got 3 more cocktails to go. So we'll see you real soon. Bye. Hey everybody, we're back for cocktail number 3. We've been traveling through Oz and we visited Munchkinland, Winkyland, and now we're going to head to Gillikin Country. Now we don't know too much about Gillikin Country, but we do know that the flying monkeys came from Gillikin Country. That's where they got in trouble. That's why they had to do what the Wicked Witch said, because of the magic cap. Now, of course, if you've read the book, you know that. If you saw the movie, you probably have no idea why the flying monkeys did the witch's bidding. Well, read the book. All right, so our cocktail, this is a nice dark, kind of a purple looking one, and that matches the Gillikin Country, and it's called Monkey Business. Monkey Business. All right, so we're gonna take our cocktail glass, and now this is called an old-fashioned glass. It's named after the cocktail, the old-fashioned. You'll see it's kind of short, wide. We're just gonna fill that with ice first. There we go. That was easy. Now there's more than that. So this one has several ingredients. The first one is a French liqueur called Chambord. Chambord. It's kind of a dark purple, very fruity flavor. This is definitely a fruity cocktail. So we're going to put 1 ounce of Chambord. You can pour that right in the glass. Now we're going to take 1 ounce of an American liqueur called Southern Comfort. Now this one is, oh, that's got a whole bunch of peach flavor going on. Real interesting. Southern Comfort is from New Orleans, by the way. That's where it was created. And I visited the actual bar that had made it, called Two Jags, several years ago. So we got one more alcohol. I know, this is like, wow, 2.5 ounces. Yeah, a 1/2 ounce of vodka. But this is going to get quite diluted over time as you drink it, because it's sitting on ice, or as they call it in bartending, rocks. So you don't need to worry about getting too drunk right away. Just take your time with this and it'll dilute as you drink it. So now we have 2 more ingredients. These are real easy ones, real inexpensive. You can find at your local grocery store. First off, we're going to use 1 ounce of Dole pineapple juice. I like to buy the little cans. I already opened this one. It's ready to go. One thing about pineapple juice, you want to make sure you shake up the can before you use it, because if you don't, you probably end up with just a clear pineapple kind of liquid that doesn't taste like pineapple juice, because the sediment of the pineapple settles on the bottom. So just a thing to keep in mind. Lastly, we're going to use 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice, and you can find this. Ocean Spray makes it, and I like the little bottles again. It's very handy. Instead of having to pour out of a gigantic bottle like I did the white cranberry juice earlier. And that's going to go in our glass as well. So that filled it up pretty good. Now, all we're going to do is stir it. I got this magic glass stirrer here. It's not a spoon, it's a magic stirrer. It kind of looks like a wand. We're going to give that a stir. Mix everything together, get it chilled down a little bit. That's probably good enough right about there. Got to be careful with those glass stirrers. These things must be done delicately, as they might say. So one last thing, I want to give it a garnish, give it a little bit of pop color, a little extra fruity flavor. At the end of the drink, you can always enjoy a maraschino or a maraschino cherry. And I got this beautiful bottle of cherries here, preserved in syrup. You do not want to buy or use the kind of, well, I'm going to need a spoon, the kind of cocktail maraschino cherries that they sell in the grocery store. Those are no good. They're basically, what they take is a cherry, they bleach it entirely of color so it's white, and then they infuse it with artificial red colored dye and a little bit of artificial cherry flavor. Those are terrible. Don't even bother with those. Get a real preserved cherry like this. You can get it at several places. You can find them online. You can get some at some of the high-end food stores at the mall. Anyway, if you look at that, that is a beautiful dark colored cherry right there. Don't want to drip that. And that's going to go right in the glass tube. You can set it right on the edge if you like. There, pretty fancy. So this is the Monkey Business Cocktail, a very fruit-forward one, a great one for summer. So thanks again. Stick around. We got 2 more cocktails to go. Hard to believe, but I'll be right back. Everybody, we're back for cocktail number 4, and we've been to Munchkinland, Winkyland, Gillikinland, and now we're going south to Quadling Country. That is where Glinda, the good sorceress of the South, lives. Well, if you recall in the book, again, not the movie, Dorothy and her friends had to make their way down to see Glinda because the wizard had taken off in his balloon. And on their way to visit Glinda, they encountered the Hammerheads. And I thought, man, that is a great name for a cocktail, especially if you've had, a few too many. You have that Hammerhead. So this is a red-based cocktail. Red is the color of the Quadling Country. So this is a pretty simple one again. I found a beautiful highball glass, and the reason they call it a highball is because it's very high and tall. They should call it a high tall glass. Anyway, I've got that. We're going to fill that up with some ice cubes. I'd just say maybe about 5 ice cubes. There's 4. 1 more. There we go. And then we can top it off with more ice if we need to. This one is a tequila drink, and we're going to be using what is known as a silver tequila, or a blanco tequila. And that is because the color is virtually clear. Any silver clear tequila that you want to use is fine. If you find one that's gold colored, you don't want to use that in this drink. This calls for a very light flavored tequila. It's only been aged in oak for about 2 years, so that's why not a lot of color has gone into it. So we're going to use 2 ounces of blanco tequila. And that's going to go right in the glass. We're already about half full. Now we're going to use a pomegranate liqueur. And this came out several years ago. It's called Pama. You can find it in just about any liquor store. It's very tart. And it's interesting because you would think, well, pomegranates, if you eat it fresh, it's a little tart. But this really is tart. So it's going to lend a very kind of sour taste to this, but we're going to sweeten it up with some simple syrup in a minute. So we're going to use 3/4 of an ounce of pomegranate liqueur. And that's going to go in there. It's going to give it a beautiful red tint. Now we're going to add, as I mentioned, simple syrup. You may have heard this phrase before. It is very simple to make, and that's why they call it simple syrup. Basically, you take equal parts of water and white sugar. And you can do it in the microwave. It only takes maybe 30 seconds in the microwave, and then you stir it and all the sugar crystals dissolve and you get a clear liquid, which is your simple syrup. I've made a bottle. I make a bottle every few weeks. I go through it fairly often. So this kind of reminds me of an Aussie kind of glass you might find. So we're going to use 1/4 ounce, not a whole lot, but just enough to sweeten up that tartness of the pomegranates. So I'm going to measure about half of the half-ounce mark, so that should give us about 1/4 ounce. That's good. And lastly, the glass is only half full, right? We need to add something else, which is going to sweeten it up even a little bit more. And this is something called Aranciata Rossa. Now, if you don't speak Italian, I'll translate. Basically, it is Italian sparkling blood orange beverage. If you've never heard of a blood orange, they're pretty cool, but I couldn't find any at the grocery store this year, unfortunately, at this time of year. If you cut it open, it's really a dark purpley red, unlike the oranges that we grow here that we're familiar with. But you're going to want to just top off the drink with about 3 ounces. I've already opened the can, and you'll see that's a beautiful red color. Really comes through. There you go. Now, one last thing, we want to garnish it, and this time we're just going to top it with some fresh fruit. what's better than a red fruit than raspberries? And they're very small. I have 3 fresh red raspberries here. Just gonna pop those right on top of the drink. They add a little color. Lastly, you want to add a straw. And I managed to find a gold straw, which I thought was pretty cool. Very Aussie. You're gonna want to put that in there, give it a stir, blend all those ingredients. Now the raspberries may float a little. They may sink to the bottom, but you're gonna see them in the glass, so that's pretty cool. So there we have a very red Hammerhead cocktail. So stick around, we have one more drink to make today, and we're going to be traveling all the way to the capital city of the Emerald City, and we're going to have this very special final cocktail. So join me again, I'll be right back. All right, everybody, we've made it. So we've traveled around from Munchkinland to Winkyland to Gillikinland to Quadlingland, and we're going to end our trip here in the Emerald City. Now, when I was thinking of cocktails for Emerald City, of course, I wanted something green, but I wanted something really cool as well. So this is a cocktail, and if you've had all 4 before this and are now having cocktail number 5, this is perfect. This cocktail is called the Water of Oblivion, because you'll wake up and you won't remember a thing. So this is a green cocktail, as I mentioned, and what I've got here, I got a beautiful cocktail glass that kind of reminds me of a tornado. If you can see the stem, it kind of looks like a tornado. So again, we want to chill the glass while we're making the drink. So we're going to put some water in there. We're going to add some ice. Now, of course, if you're in a bar, you have a proper ice well. I kind of made do over here. But in any case, there, we're going to let that chill. Now, the ingredients of this one are very tropical. If you like tiki kind of beverages, this is kind of like a green pina colada almost. So if you like that, you're going to love this one. It has 4 different alcohols and a juice. So we're going to go right down the line here. And first of all, we are going to take, this is a shaken drink, by the way. So we're going to get our mixing glass and our shaker tin here. This one has 1.5 ounces of vodka. Now, I didn't mention this, but regular old vodka, it pretty much, if you walk in a liquor store and you see a vodka that's at your waistline or above, that's a good safe vodka to buy. Don't buy anything from the liquor store if it's below your waist. You want to know why? It's because the quality is not good and you'll more likely have a hangover. A lot of those other ones also have additives and artificial things that you don't want. So that's just another little trick. If you go in the liquor store, look for waist high or above. Now, an average bottle of vodka is probably going to be about $15 to $20. That's not too bad. So anyway, 1.5 ounces of vodka. Now, this next liqueur is really cool. It's called Midori, and it's made from melons. Now, the green melon, this is going to add the color that we want so much. So we're going to add 3/4 ounce of Midori liqueur. It's one of my favorite liqueurs, by the way. Oh yeah, that's looking very, very Aussie. Look at that green. You see that? That's awesome. All right, now for the tropical kind of tiki flavors, you're going to want something kind of interesting. I was surprised that there are so many different flavored rums now. Years ago, you could only get a few, but this one is banana flavored rum. Bacardi comes out with this. You should probably be able to find this in your local liquor store. You don't need a lot. It's very intensely banana forward. So only 1/4 ounce. So again, I'm measuring half of my 1/2 ounce mark on my jigger here. And we're also going to add 1/4 ounce of another flavored spirit. And this is coconut rum. There are lots of different coconut rums out there. It really doesn't matter which one you get. So 1/4 ounce of coconut rum. That's going to go in there too. Now the nice thing about all these spirits, with the exception of the Midori, is they are all entirely clear. So you're still left with that beautiful green color. Now, the last thing we're going to add is a little fruit juice to give it that pina colada flavor, and that is pineapple juice. And only a ½ ounce. That goes in there. And still, we have that beautiful green color. That's awesome. So we're going to shake this with ice. Some ice in our tin here. Alright, put that in there. Again, just kind of a light tap, like that. Hold on to the metal part at the bottom, the glass on top, and shake it for about 8 seconds. That's about right. Again, just kind of hit it with the back of your hand here. It loosens the glass on top. We've got the glass chilled, so we're going to dump that water in ice. Nice frosty glass. Take our strainer. We're going to pour that right in there. Oh, that looks incredibly Aussie. Oh, that's something else. So lastly, we want to garnish it with something. And I have 2 garnishes I want to show it. I thought this would be kind of fun. So limes, of course, are a perfect color for the Emerald City. So I'm going to make a lime twist. Now earlier I showed you how to make a lemon twist. The thing about limes is that their peel is much thinner than a lemon. So it's kind of tricky to get a good a good lime twist. But you can do it. You just have to be a little more careful. You can't go quite as deep. So we're going to take this lime peel. There we go. See, now I got some of the juice there. So it shows you just how thin these lime peels are. I kind of like the way that looks. It kind of looks like a tornado. But it's up to you. I'm going to neaten it up anyway. I like to have things neat and tidy. It looks a little more elegant that way. So you just cut off all 4 sides. And I think I'm going to make it a little shorter. There we go. A beautiful lime twist. Now again, if you twist it, that's why they call it a twist, it expresses the oils on top of the peel. You can run that around the base or the rim of the glass to give a little extra character. But what I found to secure this lime twist to the drink is I have a huge collection of all kinds of cocktail things, and I found these beautiful cocktail picks. If you look, well, it's a love magnet. And the love magnet, of course, hangs over the gate of the Emerald City. So everyone who comes in is happy and loves everybody. I think we need a little bit more of that today. So I'm going to stick the lime twist on the love magnet cocktail pick. That's a mouthful. And then we're going to garnish the drink like that. That looks good. All right, so there we have it. Just lay it in the drink. That looks perfect. All right, so this is the Water of Oblivion. And cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned a little bit about cocktails. And enjoy the rest of the convention. Thanks again.